Mike's
Good morning, Lagos, and welcome inside the locker room here on Smooth Breakfast. It's Smooth 98.1. Joining us in the studio this morning for this edition of the locker room, we have Biola the Orlicious. How you doing?
I am fine. Good morning
Excellent.
for you. Hi, Kayode.
Good morning, Biola. Good to see
Yeah,
you again.
good to see you. Happy Independence Day, guys. And
Hey.
happy rainy Monday. Yeah, it's
Mm.
raining cats and dogs out
Yes,
there.
says showers of blessing. Enjoy yourself in bed today. But we
Okay.
are going to deliver the weekend sporting stories to you this morning. And remember to join us in conversation. Use the hashtag LockerRoom981 up on Twitter so we can read out your comments. You can also send those comments into us on our WhatsApp number. And that number is 0809 4440981.
All right, Lagos. So let's start with the first story. This one here, it talks about the Tigers, and it says here the Nigerian national women's foot basketball team, the Tigers, have finished in eighth position at the 2018 FIBA Women's World Cup. In their final classification match on Sunday against Canada, the Tigers lost 73-72 in a keenly contested game. In this historic World Cup appearance, the Tigers defeated Turkey, Argentina, and Greece before setting up a quarter-final clash with defending champions and world number one, United States of America.
Can I just say
Yes.
that I think these women deserve a bit of a round of
Uh
applause.
huh.
Just,
Thank you very
They were
much
good.
for
Tigers.
that.
They were good.
They did awesome. They did awesome. But yes, Biola, let's move
So,
on now.
fantastic feat, I must say. A big improvement from the last World Cup. A team that had never won a single World Cup game before, won three on the bounce,
Mm.
beating Turkey, beating Argentina, and beating Greece. I mean, these are top-ranked teams in the world. 7th, 15th, and 20th for a 38th, 34th ranked team is very, very impressive, I must say. Best World Cup we've had. I hope this is the worst we will have in times to come. But I must say, the Tigers, especially against USA, fully remember we talked about it in the studio, and we're saying they should just go there and have fun. And they really, really did have fun and gave USA a run for their money, especially in the first 20 minutes of the game. Winning one quarter against USA is big, I must say. And then USA must have been trembling at that point that really, who are these Nigerians? And thinking about it, these were the underdogs of the group, so to say. They were the girls who everyone should have beaten, but then they were the big surprise, one of the surprises of the tournament. Belgium also another surprise of the tournament. But I hope these girls get a very, very good welcome from Nigerians.
Yes,
I'm sure they
because
will.
They will. They better,
must.
because they
They
have done
must.
us proud. Congratulations to them. They have everything to be proud of. Every single woman there was fantastic. Even when Aisha Mohammed was injured, everyone turned up. So congratulations to the Tigers. Eight. I mean, finishing above the likes of Argentina, above the likes of Japan, Greece, Latvia is a really, really big deal. Eight in the tournament, we're satisfied.
Let's keep it moving, though. We've got more sports stories coming your way. This is in. So the USA on Sunday were crowned world champions for a third time in a row and 10th all time after beating Australia in the final of the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2018. Now, under the watchful eye of FIBA President Horacio Muratore and with Her Majesty Queen Letizia of Spain in attendance, the USA beat the Opals 73-56 in the title game, and in the process, they sealed their place at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. And earlier, tournament host Spain sealed third place and the last podium step with 67-60 win against Belgium.
Well, remember when we were talking about USA being the owners of basketball last week? They have proved that again and again. I mean, 3 consecutive World Cups, 10-time champions. Truly, they own basketball. But then kudos to Australia as well. I would have really liked to see them win another World Cup for the first time since 2006. But kudos to them. They also gave USA a run for their money, and they had a fantastic tournament as well. We will note that they beat our girls. So they had a fantastic tournament. But USA, I mean, we just have to give it all to them. They have a fantastic structure. They have the WNBA to thank as well, because most of the girls there play for the WNBA and are top players. We need to give all kudos to Brianna Stewart, who was MVP of the tournament. She has had a fantastic year generally in basketball. Won the championship with Seattle Storm. Also won the MVP of the WNBA finals as well. Winning this championship and then being MVP. One woman only, a fantastic year. So good one for USA. I don't think it was ever in doubt though. It was written in the stars almost from the beginning of the tournament. And then they deserve every accolade they're getting right now. But then I'd like to see the FIBA Women's World Cup being more competitive in the next few years. Maybe African sides can continue like they did now. I mean, Senegal were also impressive, even though they didn't get to the quarterfinal. Nigeria, hoping we can take it one step again, get to the semi-final, final. It is possible. I mean, with what these girls have played in this tournament, we can really, really hope. And if we build on that, then we can go further. But USA, the likes of Australia, Spain also hosts. Coming third also was a really impressive one. So generally, it was a fun tournament, and we enjoyed it, especially because of our girls. So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's over now.
I was so interested this year. I was like, wow, is this what it can be like? Okay, excellent stuff.
Now you know what it is like.
Okay, so let's talk about some more people getting or heading towards accolades. More accolades. Let's talk about Lewis Hamilton winning the Russian Grand Prix. Now, Lewis Hamilton took a giant step towards the 5th World Championship with victory in the Russian Grand Prix. Hamilton benefited from team orders as Mercedes made Valtteri Bottas to let him by half distance to protect against rival Sebastian Vettel. But Hamilton had to overtake Vettel on track to get into a position to benefit from orders after being passed at the pit stops. The Briton, who is now 50 points ahead, has a lead that means Vettel no longer controls his own destiny, and the 4-time champion could win the remaining 5 races but still finish second in the standings.
Yes, controversial race that was in Russia. I mean, fans on Twitter, you must see how they are blasting Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. I mean, I think letting Bottas go wouldn't have been a problem. I think Lewis Hamilton would have still been 43 points ahead, and that's a good lead as well. But then everybody knows Bottas does not stand a chance right now to win the championship. It's Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel running for that, and Bottas is still many points behind, even though he sits on third. So it's a duopoly right now. It's a 2-man race. And of course, as a team, Mercedes decided to let the guy who is on top of the standings get that win. Yes, team effort, really good one. But at the same time, one would wonder, Bottas would have liked to win a race as well. I mean, wouldn't anyone want that? But then,
isn't Bottas supposed to be the second driver and always look out for Hamilton first?
they have never exactly put it that way as who is the first or who is the second driver, but we know who is on top of the standings and who would most likely win this championship. But then, good race. I must say, Verstappen also had a really good race. It was his 21st birthday, and he gave himself a very good birthday present as well. But then 50 points, it's done and dusted, really. Vettel is still really hopeful. He says it's not over, but let's see how the next 5 races, just 5 races left in the season, go. But I wasn't exactly, it wasn't a game, it wasn't a race that was very enjoyable. I mean, Hamilton said it himself that wasn't a way he would have liked to win a race, but it's done. Congratulations to Mercedes in advance.
If he stretches this win, how many would that be in a bag for Hamilton?
That would be, what do you mean?
If he wins these last 5 races, that's a Hamilton now. If he wins the general overall Grand Prix, how many wins would that make him?
That would be his 6th championship.
6th championship.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's already in the bag, should we say?
It's halfway there. It's Hamilton.
More than halfway there. 5 races and 50 points. Vettel, it's over. Yeah. Champion in waiting.
We're going to bring it back home to the continent in just a bit after we come back from taking this break. In the meantime, do keep sending us messages. Use that hashtag LockerRoom981 up on Twitter. Know that we are streaming live on YouTube as well, and we'll be tweeting that video link for you to watch. And last but not least, send us your WhatsApp messages to 0809 444 0981. You're listening to The Locker Room on Smooth Breakfast. Change that stopper.
Sorry?
Change the stopper or move the ab up. Okay, then just change the stopper.
So I should put the stopper here then?
Yeah, and the second one as well. Yeah.
I don't know why they put a stopper. Okay. We'll just put it here then.
Yeah.
I wanted to remind you of this link, but I don't know. Is this supposed to be this way?
What?
This I think this is an old one.
No, no. Yes, yes, that is actually. I don't know if she's put up a new tweet. Madam, do you do a small video? Come around and look at this. You know you put this up from Friday. Did you do one for today or no?
No, I haven't done one yet.
Okay.
Honey drill.
Everybody's guy.
Ah, everybody's guy. Oh. Try.
Introducing the new Sterling One Pay, your personal mobile and internet banking solution from Sterling Bank. With Sterling One Pay, you can schedule your payments, choose things that reflect you, and even hide your balance with the panic pin. It's the platform that's got your back. Download Sterling One Pay from App Stores today.
Okay, mic's up.
And we are back in talking sports inside the locker room on Smooth Breakfast. Kayode and myself, Folu, are in the studio, and joining us, we have got Biola Omowanle. How you doing, hon?
I'm fine. Omowanle.
Omowanle. Sorry, don't be angry. Omowanle. So we carry on now, bringing the sports conversation back to the continent. The Confederation of African Football Federation of African Football CAF, they've confirmed that Ghana will host the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in November, just as planned. So Africa's football body stated that the CAF Secretariat will closely monitor the progress of preparations. Now, questions had been raised about whether Ghana was ready to host the Women's Nations Cup, especially in light of recent crisis in the country's football association. Yes, scandals, we remember. And the tournament runs from the 17th of November to the 1st of December. The top three will all qualify for next year's Women's World Cup in France.
Finally, we know where we're going.
Maybe
I
make
mean,
my way
right
to
now,
Ghana that time.
right now it is just 47 days to the start of the tournament, and we had been asking a whole lot of questions. I mean, less than 3 months to the championship, and we do not know where we're going. We know how the crisis in Ghana have been, and then there were different rumors flying around. Could it be Kenya? Could it be Zambia? Who would host the African Women's Cup of Nations? But finally, Ghana have been confirmed, and quickly, things are being put in place. I mean, a web specifically for the tournament. The team song has been released. The official mascot also has been released. There's a hashtag on Twitter and all of that. So we are gearing up to the tournament. I just hope all the facilities can be put in place in time because from various reports, the Cape Coast Stadium is still under renovation. But then 47 days, a whole lot can happen. Hopefully Ghana get themselves ready. But then of course, the Falcons will be getting ready as well. 8-time champions, 8 times in 10 appearances. Just 10 championships have been played. This will be the 11th. Why are you shaking your head, Kayode?
8 out of 10. Just
8 out
listen to
of
what she
10,
said.
yes. So they'll be getting ready and going to Ghana, which is almost like second home for Nigerians. So we'll be looking forward to that. Ghana, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Mali, Algeria, Zambia, South Africa, and Cameroon will be competing for that title. So maybe I should give it to the Super Falcons already, but African women's football is getting more competitive, we have to say. So fingers crossed.
All right, let's talk about pressure. Okay, pressure on the Red Devils. Let's talk about Manchester United now.
Ew.
West Ham piled more pressure on Jose Mourinho with a 3-1 victory over Manchester United at the London Stadium. Paul Pogba returned after his midweek spat with Mourinho, but it took just 5 minutes for things to unravel as record signing Felipe Anderson scored his first West Ham goal with a deft near post flick. And a miserable first half for the visitors was compounded 2 minutes before the break as Yarmolenko's shot took a wicked deflection off Victor Lindelof.
Yes, more pressure on Manchester United as a whole and not just Jose Mourinho. I mean, when you lose to a struggling West Ham side who have had just victory this season, then you need to ask questions. When you're 10th on the log at this point, Manchester United, a team worth almost £1 billion, then you have to ask questions. When you're having your worst season since 1989, 1990, a very, very long time, then you need to ask questions. Manchester United are having it really, really bad at this point. You wonder how worse can it get at this point of the season. Like I said, 10th on the log, out of the Carabao Cup already, and then the whole Mourinho Pogba thing. It's a whole lot to take in for Manchester United fans. But then everyone seems to be piling all the blame on Jose Mourinho. Yes, he has a whole lot of issues to settle, and we do not know how long this can continue. But you need to look to the players as well. Alexis Sanchez cannot find his scoring boost. He's barely even making the starting lineup at this point, of course, because he's not getting his scoring boost. Pogba is having attitude issues. He was abysmal yesterday, coming off after 70 minutes, doing almost absolutely nothing. Manchester United's back four is a disaster right now. Ashley Young, Smalling. The team doesn't look motivated. They almost look like they have given up on the season in 7 games. But then the question is Mourinho staying? I remember talking to Kayode just before we got into the studio, and he said you cannot sack Pogba. Of course, and Pogba is not the only player who is having issues at Manchester United. You can't offload all the players right now and then get fresh players. So I think as it is, Jose Mourinho's time, his clock might just be ticking, because this is October now. I almost said September. This is October. Even if you're to get fresh players, fresh defenders, you have to wait till the January transfer window. And the season is virtually over at that time. If Pogba truly, in quotes, is the problem for Manchester United, if he is to leave Manchester United, you still have to wait till that same January. So I think his clock is truly ticking. Mourinho's clock is truly ticking, and let's see how they go in the next few games again. But then there is no time. At this point, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City are topping the table, haven't lost a game. Even the likes of Wolves are doing better than Manchester United. It is very competitive. There is no time to waste. If any decision is to be made, it should be made now.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Biola. We've got lots of messages coming in. Bash Miyaba says, I said that our girls' 3-point game was poor and they were clumsy in attack. These are the areas that they need to improve. But we need a bench, and that is why we need a local women's league so that we can get more talented players. Okay, bye. Top one for Bottas. Mercedes showed that they are human after all, but Hamilton now has to just finish ahead of Vettel in 3 races, even if he doesn't win any race again this season. But he also comes in to talk about the Tigers, saying that they really made us proud. I hope that we can build on that. I'm sure that Barca must have been like, may your enemies continuously fumble like the Madrids after such a poor showing from the top 3
We'll
in the last
get
2
into
weeks.
that as well.
Mourinho wahala. Anyway, the season is still young.
Okay, that's what we always say.
This one says, good morning, guys. I listened to your talk show Inside the Locker Room, but I haven't heard you guys discussing about chess and Scrabble, especially as our boys and girls are slugging it out at the Chess Olympiad in Georgia.
Thank you very much. Next time, please put a name to your message, but we will look out for that, and we'll look out for those stories to see if we can talk about them. While IK from Navy Town sends in this one.
He says, kudos to the Tigers. Please, where is that our auntie, that the Croatian president? Our girls need her presidential hugs right now. Because they really tried. I was really impressed with Mad Max Verstappen. Upon all the setbacks, he still finished in a favorable position. Kimi Räikkönen was just relaxed on his position, like someone picking his teeth. He was like, waiting consign me. Last, I won't be here next season.
Avi, let me just do this one and go.
Okay, still more coming in. Okay, Tremolo's lapel pin. We see you out there, Otis. We've got this one in from Shay, who says, Folu, Man U may end like 12th this season. This is the best time to play Barca, Real Madrid, and Man U since they are doing sweets promo.
What do
and
you
kudos
mean?
to the Tigresses. Thank you very much for that, Shay. And we've got this one in from Sharif Oluwaleke Akindi, who says the government should just give the Tigresses money. They should just live and forget the handshake, I beg. We don't need it. The girls have done us proud. Okay, up next, more stories. Daniel Sturridge scored a stunning late equaliser as Liverpool fought back to claim a 1-all draw against Premier League title rivals Chelsea in an absorbing contest at Stamford Bridge. This took place on Saturday evening. Now, Eden Hazard was the one who fired in the opening goal after about 25 minutes, just days after coming off the bench to secure a 2-1 Carabao Cup win for Chelsea at Anfield. Mohamed Salah and Firmino had shots blocked on the line, and Shaqiri sliced wide from 12 yards out as Liverpool's hope of extending their perfect start to the Premier League season. Well, it faded into the night.
Really, that was the perfect scoreline. I think a draw was the best way that game could have ended because it was very, very, very keenly contested. Probably the match of the season so far for me. That goal by Daniel Sturridge was incredible, incredible, incredible. I have put it on my Puskas Award lists for next season, for next year, that is. But then Manchester United, how am I saying Manchester United again? Chelsea and Liverpool still unbeaten this season, and the league seems to be a three-horse race as it is between Manchester City, Liverpool, and then Chelsea. That game was really, really impressive. I think one of the things I took away from the game was David Luiz, who was man of the match. I mean, he seemed to shut the critics up yesterday because he has been really criticized lately. He hasn't been as impressive as he should have been, but then yesterday he really, really turned up. So I think that game was the perfect scoreline. Like I said, a draw was the perfect way it could have ended. It would have been unfair for Liverpool to lose, and it would have been unfair for Chelsea to lose as well. But then these two sides are going in for that title, chasing Manchester City for it. At this point, Manchester City and Liverpool with 19 points each. Three-horse race.
Three-horse race, right? Let's see. Let's talk about what's happening in the Spanish league. Barcelona manager Ernesto Valverde admitted his gamble to wrest Lionel Messi backfired on Saturday as Barcelona drew 1-1 at home to Athletic Bilbao to make it 3 games without a victory. Now, Messi came on in the 55th minute at the Camp Nou, and it was the Argentine's shot that was turned in by another substitute in the 6 minutes left to play.
Okay, so here's the thing. Last season, Ernesto Valverde was really criticized for not rotating players. And then this season, he's overdoing it and taking so many risks. So that was a huge risk to take, knowing they hadn't even won in their last 2 games. Now they haven't won in their last 3 games and somehow still sit on the table. We talked, the guy who tweeted before from WhatsApp talked about how the La Liga is an Atletico and Real Madrid not taking advantage of that as well. The rotations are getting a little too risky from Ernesto Valverde, but then considering the fact that they have Tottenham to play on Wednesday, he left Busquets on the bench, left Messi on the bench, and after the game he said during the press conference, Sergio Roberto got injured. He didn't want Messi to get injured as well. Yeah, that's a factor. But at this point, you need to focus on almost every game you're playing, knowing that the likes of even Sevilla are having a very, very good season and are the 3rd on the log at this point. But then I think Barcelona will bounce back. I want to believe this is a phase. But then in the last 3 games, they have been unentertaining. They have no player. I don't want to say anyone has even performed well. No player has performed up to expectation. The new signings are blowing hot and cold. Everyone blowing hot and cold. Knowing they face Tottenham, that will be a very, very difficult game in the Champions League on Wednesday. I do not know how to predict that game right now.
Okay, we'll see where this goes, though.
We'll see where it goes.
All right, Lakers, let's go on a quick break. When we get back, we'll do some more talking. Don't forget you're listening to Locker Room here on Smooth 98.1.
Valverde wants to give me high blood pressure. God.
Okay, so Real Madrid, final story.
Yeah.
Gather you. I'm so jealous. You're going to go home now. See.
Yes.
Excellent.
No, I actually have a lot of running around to do
Yeah.
before my show on Max FM in the evening.
Ah.
I hope that rain has stopped though.
I want to sleep.
Introducing the new Sterling One Pay, your personal mobile and internet
Too much to pay.
from Sterling Bank.
No. Always so many payment ads.
Your balance with the Penny Pay. It's the platform that's got your back. Download Sterling One Pay from App Store today.
graduation dress? Mine is so faded, I can't even wear it. How come
Yeah.
yours looks so new? Kano detergent, girls.
Care for your precious fabrics with Kano detergent and bar soap. It's gentle on colors and trusted by Daviva. Kano, colors look brighter for longer.
Hi, my name is Adeswa Tony,
Okay.
and you're listening to The Smooth Breakfast with Folu Storms and Valentine.
Indeed, and we are back in talking sports inside the locker room still. All right, let's go over to a few of your messages very quickly. 8th World Wonder up on Twitter says, remember when I mentioned Chelsea versus Liverpool game would end in a draw for Manchester City to win and top the table for eternity like last season? It has happened!
They still have the same points as Liverpool.
Interesting. While Ride or Remy says in 7 games, 3 lost in EPL, Mourinho is tactically poor nowadays. We struggle against every team. We have to turn to talking drum. Every team they beat us. The luckiest United fans passed on season. Okay, interesting. I don't know what that means, but okay. We'll move on to our final story, though. Real Madrid failed to win for a second straight game and missed the chance to go top of La Liga as they drew with city rivals Atletico Madrid. Real, beaten by Sevilla midweek, could have overtaken Barcelona, who drew against Atletico Bilbao earlier. Welshman Gareth Bale volleyed an effort narrowly wide before being replaced at halftime because of an injury. And Atletico's best chance fell to Antoine Griezmann, but the Frenchman's dink shot was saved by Thibaut Courtois.
Okay, now it almost seems like Barcelona and Real Madrid get alike, very, very similar results on the same match days. I mean, midweek, Real Madrid lost to Sevilla, Barcelona lost to Leganes, and then the weekend again, they both get very funny results. But then it shows how competitive La Liga could be. I earlier mentioned Sevilla also having a really good season so far. And now I can't say if it's a 2-horse race, if it's a 3-horse race, or a 4-horse race yet in La Liga in 6 games. But then it's good to see that the likes of Sevilla also are giving the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid a run for their money, as it should be. You know, it's usually Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid if they even turn
Those
up.
top 3, basically.
Those top 3. But then it'll be good to see maybe Sevilla getting second on the log or even winning La Liga this time. But it's almost impossible, in my opinion. But Barcelona and Real Madrid struggling at this point. Real Madrid also will be without Marcelo. Maybe a doubt for their Champions League game against CSK Moscow. Gareth Bale also picking up an injury is very, very, very bad. But then we'll see how they go. They have, they have it relatively easy against CSK Moscow, but then Barcelona will have the big Tottenham base in this their very, very trying times. But then we'll see how it feels in match day.
Okay. Lots of messages coming in. Rota sent in this one on Twitter.
He says, where does Daniel Sturridge find the confidence to score a goal like that when he isn't a starter?
With his first touch.
His manager club opposite of Mourinho.
Yeah, no post I would say. Sorry. Nathan Njoku says, never saw us losing against Chelsea, but we had better chances to have won the game. Salah needs to start scoring if we're to win in the EPL. As for United, I never see anything. Yes. 2004 photo of Jose saying, I will destroy Man United. 2018 photo of him smiling, saying, mission
That is just so wrong.
Wow.
All shades of wrong.
Guys, come on. Messages are coming in on WhatsApp as well.
This one says, I watched Manchester United on Saturday and I cried internally. It was
Aw.
like they were playing on slow motion. I thought the problem was Pogba, but I was proven wrong. I beg. I will join either Folu or Valentine. Now on Manchester, I'm now a Manchester United supporter and not a fan. At least I will emotionally
I
be
will
stable.
be emotionally stable, yeah.
Sorry,
when
Bill,
next
you're
I'm
a fan,
watching
you're a
their
fan
match.
right now. You cannot unfan yourself. No.
I will settle for the highlights when they're playing any big team.
Yeah, sorry. Bash Amiyama says, please, Red Devil players have always been poor right from the time of Sir Alex. That was why the final years of Sir Alex, they didn't do that well in the Champions League. Well, Jose must be focusing on the UCL because the noise would be more if they
Focusing
lose.
on which you see.
On that note, we are done with all other comments and
Yes,
sports
we
news for
are.
this morning. Viola, thank you very much.
Thank you as
Go on
always.
and have a great Independence Day.
Yep.
Excellent. Lagos, stay with us. And of course, the rest of the world, because coming up, final hour of Smooth Breakfast, you get to talk about Lagos.
Talk about Lagos.